Welcome
Look
back.
who's back.
Happy to be back. She's also back. She was away.
Yeah.
So we are happy to be back. We got another episode of the Hardy Times. Got a good show for you today. Les, what do we got up?
All right. Well, as always, we're here to educate, enlighten, and entertain you. Entertain you. We got a good show today. We're going to talk about real estate wise. How many houses does it take to buy a house? I think that's a common question. And then recap your big New Zealand trip.
Happy to talk about it.
Cannot wait to hear about that.
Happy to talk about it.
And play a little game.
Yes, we love games, so we're going to hit everything.
Yeah.
So
tell us about how many houses does it take, Scott?
How many houses? So this is a topic that, every topic that we have that's real estate related, people ask us, it's all birthed from questions that I get. That's inspires our conversation. So what we talk about in real estate. And a common question that I get is how many houses does it take to buy a house? How many houses do we have to look at? So to answer your question, there is no answer. It's shades of gray. So for everybody, it's different. There's all different kinds of buyers out there. And I want to share some examples of buyers that I've worked with. There was a guy last summer, called him the Prof. He was a professor at Villanova. We looked at houses all summer. Every Saturday and Sunday, we looked at 4 or 5 a day for about 2.5 months, and they were hungry to buy, so we were looking all the time, and we probably looked at 50 plus houses, 50 plus, and finally settled on one in the main line, and it took them a bit. I mean, we just didn't find what they were looking for, and that would be an example of somebody that just didn't find something that the market bared. But on the flip side, I've got friends in Havertown. The first house we looked at, no brainer. Let's put an offer in. This is the house that we want. Let's not waste any more time and get cracking on it. And we got the house. And it was the first house that we looked at. Now, that's not every circumstance. I think that's the polar opposite of the two.
Yeah.
But I think the average is somewhere in the middle. But keep in mind this, and I would always recommend to give this advice to somebody that's looking to buy a home. If you just start the process and you guys do see a home that you love, don't move forward. Don't not move forward on the house because it's the first house that you looked at. I think that there's a reason that you want to look at houses because you probably saw something online or something that I sent you that made you want to see the house. So if you have a house in mind that you love, it checks all the boxes, but you're gun shy because you're so early in the process, don't let that be a reason why you don't buy a house. I think you should be open to it.
Especially because you might risk losing out on that house.
Exactly. That's a good point. Houses do go quick, especially in the spring, which is happening now. There's going to be more houses available, but you also have more buyers, so inventory goes quick. And I got a great person to comment on this. Leslie recently bought a house, so she can give her 2 cents on what her experience was like.
Yeah. So when we were looking, I just the first couple houses that we saw, I really wanted to like because I was super excited to find something. And I also know and recognize you have to act fast, especially in the Philly market, but just right now in general, there's low inventory everywhere. So I really wanted to like it and would have acted on it, but I didn't really find anything that I actually wanted to offer on for a while. And then found a house that I did like, lost out on it. There was multiple offers, so that was a huge bummer. But and then I kind of got a little bit discouraged after that. I was thinking I'm not going to ever find a house that I'm going to like as much as that house. And then just kind of kept looking. Actually kind of decided to stop looking, and then that came on, and the house that I bought, and it worked out. So in hindsight, it does work out. It's all meant to be, and it works out. But I think you want that feeling when you walk in, like this is the one. And I think you'll have that. So if it's the first one that you see and you have that feeling, I would recognize that that's rare to find, and I would act on that first.
Definitely.
Because you don't want to circle back and be like, oh, I really wish I would have offered on the one that we saw in the first place.
That's a great point, and I have had people that have found houses they love right off the bat and then say, it's just too early, and then we look at houses another 2-3 weeks later, and they wish they moved forward on that first house.
Yeah.
So don't be discouraged, too, if you don't find anything you like. It's out there. Every other day there's new house hitting the market, so like Leslie mentioned, she felt slightly discouraged, but like from talking to her and talking to people in her office, I think you got the idea that the house will be there just
Yeah.
because something that you looked
You have
at
to have
isn't
faith.
right.
Gotta
You
keep
gotta
the
have
faith.
faith. You gotta have faith.
Yeah.
And there's just think of the odds of this. Every day, I don't know the exact number, but there's 3 to 4 houses probably in the borough that you're looking at that's hitting the market a day. A day. So there's a ton of houses, new inventory always coming. So don't get discouraged that if there's something that is not currently on the market that you love, it still could be coming in a week,
Yeah.
a day, 3 weeks. Just don't get too discouraged. It's out there. Hang in there,
Yeah.
and we'll find you a home.
I think what for me it was the timeline of my lease ending too. So I was feeling really rushed and pressured to find something before I had to renew. But usually, your current lease will work with you. They were really supportive about it because I did end up renewing, and then they were like, "It's fine. We're happy for you." So always can make it work, and yeah, keep the faith.
Hang in there. Hang in
Yeah.
there. Don't get discouraged, and be open to a good house that you see in the beginning. Don't say no just because it's the very beginning of the process. That's, my best advice to you. And if it's not there right away, we will find it. There's the house out there for you.
Yeah.
So I hope that helped. That's a big question I get a lot. So I hope that is something, if you're a potential home buyer, that, if that question crossed your mind, how many houses is too many? How many is not enough? I hope that helped answer your question.
Yeah.
Les, what else we got today?
Well, we got to talk about your trip. I want to hear all about it.
Yes.
So let's start from the beginning.
Back in the States.
Yeah.
So, number one, it took me about 48 hours before the trip to find my passport. So I was thankful that I found my
so
passport.
stressed for you.
I know. I think you were more stressed than I was.
Yeah.
But found the passport, got to go to New Zealand. It is, I would say right off the bat, the worst part of the trip is the flight. It is a pain.
Mm-hmm.
It is a lot of flying, but going there isn't so bad because you have like a lot of like positive energy. You can't wait to get there. So I feel like going there, I didn't have any issues going there. What I would say about New Zealand, it is fucking amazing. Amazing. I would tell you, if you're going to leave the country, New Zealand should be number one on
Yeah.
the list. It was everything and anything about the trip. It was a trip of a lifetime. I was there for 3 weeks. I did everything and anything. In terms of like adventure-based activities, I did skydiving. I did bungee jumping. I hiked 2 national parks. I biked through another one. I went caving. I went rafting. I swam with dolphins. I did a winery tour. I mean, there's even more that I'm not naming right now.
This goes on.
Anything you can imagine, I did, and I fit in a 21-day period. So there's just everything, and the scenery is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
I think by the last day, I was just spoiled by looking at waterfalls and llamas on the side of the road.
Uh-huh.
I think at one point we were on the side of the road, our trailer that we had, and there was just a seal, like taking a nap right outside where we were parked.
Love
And
it.
that's just like normal there. Nobody that lived there was like, oh yeah, that's just a seal. He's taking a quick nap. And to me, I'm like, what? A seal? That's interesting. But it was amazing. And I was telling, Leslie this before the show started. What made it so great is, so I'm in a group. I was one of 17 people.
Yeah.
And the group was people from all over the country, all over the world. There was one other person from America that joined the trip a little bit late, another person from Canada. But for the most part, a good amount of the people were from England. What do we have? Ireland, Australia, Sweden, Germany. I know I'm missing a few, but China. And it was such like a culturally diverse place. And most of the people spoke English, or English being their first language, but just, a different version of it. So we had a lot of fun learning about each other's cultures, different sayings. And, the average age, I would say, was mid to late 20s, early 30s. So I was like maybe a little bit on the older side, but like around the mean. And it was a group that was like, young enough to really have fun and go out, and be stupid at night and have a good time, but like mature enough to really understand the culture of New Zealand and take in everything that we were taught. And, another thing I want to talk about too was, so the mass shooting that happened in New Zealand, it was in Christchurch. We were there. I was there, I think about 7 to 10 days after the shooting took place. And that town was one of the most memorable parts of my trip. it was there was an earthquake there in 2011. So the whole town was destroyed. There was, I don't know the exact number, but a lot of people died.
Yeah.
And right now, or when we were there, it's the rebirth of the town. So everything is brand new. And people were very, very prideful of that town. People didn't leave after the earthquake. And it's kind of weird to say because you have to experience it, but seeing a town that's brand new, like new social settings, new bars, new corporate buildings, it's different. There's really nothing like it right now. And just imagine the entire town. So from hearing that was the place for the mass shooting is just devastating.
Sad.
And I know I got the vibe from being in New Zealand that nothing bad ever happens there.
Yeah.
And I think that's like pretty true.
Such
I mean,
nice,
it was the first ever mass
genuinely
shooting.
nice people there.
People there are incredible, and just complimenting the country, the people that live there, they are so prideful in it, which was very cool to hear, and just different. It's just a whole different experience.
Yeah.
And guys, I would just stress, if you're going somewhere, put New Zealand on your list.
Yeah,
It holds a
it's
special place
beautiful
to me
there.
now after my trip, and I can't say enough good things about it.
So this trip you went on, they planned everything, right? They
Yep.
planned every single place you went to, all the activities.
Mm-hmm.
You just had to basically show up and
Yep, we had our tour guide. They called it a CEO, and she was great. She made the
what
trip.
was her name?
Sparkles, and she had purple hair, and she was amazing.
It's amazing.
She made the trip much easier. There was at one point we had a slip up because there was a landslide, so one of the roads that goes through the country was closed. So we had to take a different route. She handled it like a champ. They organized
That's
the
awesome,
itinerary
'cause
for
they
you.
know best.
They
so
do.
you don't
They
really
do.
have to.
And I
Organize
think
it.
there's some people that could travel alone, like actually alone. And I mean, I'm not one of those people because the fact that there was an itinerary already in place takes so much stress
So
out of
nice.
everything. I mean, I didn't have to worry about driving. I have to worry about where I'm sleeping. We stayed in hostel. We'd be in a city for 2 or 3 days. We'd hop on the bus and go to another city. We stay in another hostel. Everything was planned, so I didn't need to really address any of that stuff.
You just had to worry about getting yourself up.
I just
and
had to
getting
wake
there.
up. I just had to wake up in the morning, drink a cup of coffee, and not be late for the bus.
Yeah.
It was.
Where
was
all
just
did you
amazing.
go? Tell us all the places that you went.
So
You
I know I'm going to be
saw
skipping
the
a few
entire
cities.
North and South Island.
I started
right?
in the North Island at Auckland, and then worked my way down south. It was about a week on the North Island. I'm going to say roughly 2 weeks on the South Island. So we took a ferry from the North Island to the South Island, and I'm trying to think what is the southernmost city that I stopped in. But we went from Auckland all the way to the top, down to the South Island, looped all the way around the South Island, and then I flew out of Wellington. Flew from Wellington back to Auckland, then Auckland back to Philadelphia, or back to LAX,
Then-
back to Philly from there. Which was, the last day was brutal.
Quite the journey.
Yeah, what was a lot of people in our trips last night.
Yeah.
So we lived it up, so you could say that I didn't get much sleep
No.
heading into that flight that day. But got through it, survived.
You made it back.
One piece.
one piece.
Kind of,
Almost.
yeah.
What was your favorite place?
Favorite town was Queenstown,
Queenstown.
with Raglan being second. Raglan's like a surfer town.
Okay.
Really liked Raglan a lot. Christchurch is up there too. But Queenstown, where we stayed, it's right next to the hostel is a beach. And you can go up there with alcohol. You can just hang out with your friends. And it's open to the public. And the days that we were there was a guy playing the piano. And everyone in the group was there hanging out. It's just a very
fun.
scenic. It's like 75 degrees, no
Yeah.
humidity. The backdrop is mountains.
Unreal.
It's like out of a postcard.
To give you guys some background, when I studied abroad in Australia 10 years ago, it's crazy.
Feels like
I
yesterday.
stopped over in New Zealand on my way home, but the only place I went to was Queenstown. So I was super excited to hear that you were going there.
Yep.
So I can visualize it. I've been there. It's incredible.
It's also, if you're going to go to one city in New Zealand and you want to do bungee, you want to
Yeah,
skydive, you want to do all that stuff, that has everything.
It's the adrenaline junkie paradise.
That's how it advertises itself.
Yeah.
So if you like that stuff, and that's like one of the reasons why you want to go to Queenstown. You definitely won't be let down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an amazing
Sounds
place. So
awesome.
it was tough coming back, but I'm glad I'm back now, and it was just an unforgettable trip. And if anybody out there that's watching has any questions about the trip that I did, I highly recommend it to everybody. So you feel free to hit me up. I'd be happy to share my experience and tell you about the company that I used and how they really get everything organized.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that.
All right, well, let's go into our game because it relates. So
Let's game it up.
we love our games. We're going to do another Can You Not game, and we figured let's do like a Can You Not travel edition. So we did airport last time.
Yes.
Now it's just anything that goes on traveling. Give me some Can You Nots.
All right, I'll start. I'm going to do all New Zealand stuff.
Yeah.
Can you not rip your bag halfway through a 21-day trip? My bag ripped. My big bag ripped at like day 10. So I had to lug that for 2 weeks. Luckily, my buddy in Germany, he had a giant bag that I stuck my bag inside of. But for like
Clutch.
a few days, I had like my socks and t-shirts just leaking out of my bag every time I pulled it out of the trailer. So that was not fun. If you're at somewhere 21 days, get a sturdy bag. Don't go into it with my like
I can picture
jacket.
it.
I mean, it was a horrible bag. Horrible. I mean, get a sturdy bag, especially if you're doing a 3-week trip.
Yeah. Oh, God. Okay.
What do you got?
All right, I'm going to go Can You Not weather.
Weather in
I
general?
know, yeah. And I'll give
Did
you
you
some,
look
I'll
up
give
to
you
Can
some
you not weather?
Weather. I'll give you some examples, just tying into New Zealand. When I went there, it rained literally 4 of the 5 days that we were there. So jet boating was canceled. Our
Damn.
glacier walk was canceled. Our, I don't know, a bunch of stuff canceled. The only thing I got to do, which I'm really glad I did, but was the bungee jump.
The bungee.
It was sunny that day, thank God. I think I would have been so freaked out if it were raining that day. But yeah, like, can you not rain the entire time I'm in New Zealand and I can't do my fun activities?
That's a good can you not.
Oh, and can you not weather recently? Went to a bachelorette party in Austin last weekend. And all of my friends traveling from Colorado the day before had this huge snowstorm, and half of the group's flights were canceled. And it was such a bummer. Luckily, though, and like miraculously, the bride's flight made it out. First flight out, the only flight out that next day. So
She got lucky.
she got lucky. She's like the luckiest friend I know. We were telling her to buy a lottery ticket. But
Should go
but
handsome
yeah,
with
like
her.
I know. But like, can you not snow and the day before we're supposed to go for a fun bachelorette weekend?
Anywhere flying. If you're
It
flying,
worked
just
out,
please
but half the girls
cooperate
couldn't
with
go.
the weather.
Yeah.
Please. We're pointing up.
Yeah. Weather.
Cooperate.
Cooperate with us.
So I've got another can you not.
Okay.
This was New Zealand can you not. So I went skydiving. Can you not
Oh, yeah.
switch out my harness right before I get on the airplane to go skydiving? People ask me, was I nervous to go skydiving?
Not cool.
I wasn't at all. I wasn't scared at all. Wasn't nervous. Right before we got on the plane, you have like a guy that's like strapped to your back that's like, very close to you, but you feel safe. And he looked at another guy, and he kind of just like looked at my harness on my back and did like one of these, like, what do you think? Is that good? And then the guy went like this, and
You're like,
I'm like looking
what?
around like, what do you mean?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What is this? I have a bad harness? So right before I got on the airplane, they switched out my harness. And I'm like, well, can you tell me what was wrong with my existing harness? And he's like, don't worry, mate. You're all good.
Oh,
Just,
God.
it was just a minor detail, not a big deal. And I'm like,
Not a
just
big
tell me what it was. Like, what was I
Is
going
that
to
your
die?
New Zealand accent?
What? Not very good. Better than my London accent, which is pretty much just what I saw from Forgetting Sarah Marshall
Yeah.
of Jonah Hill, where he goes, "That's terrible." That's how I talk to everybody from England. They did not love it at all. They
I'm
weren't
sure
fans.
they thought you talked really strange too. Go ahead.
Yeah, they
Go
did.
on.
They
Sorry.
did. So I had to switch out my harness because my harness was no good, which is, I think anybody's going to get on a plane and they're about to skydive. You want to make sure that your harness is correct. And he was like, don't worry about it. Minor detail. You're fine now. So now I get a new harness, and now I'm on the plane, and I showed Leslie the video, and it's like build up, like, what's your name, where you're from,
Such
blah, blah,
good
blah.
spirits until that.
I am so excited going up there, and I'm positive, and they film me when I'm on the plane, and I'm just sitting there like,
Well, what if this harness is?
yeah, it killed all my positive
Yeah.
energy and momentum, and I was nervous. I was really nervous right before I jumped out, but luckily I did not die. I survived. I'm here now, and it was amazing. But
Yeah.
listen, if you're a guide out there, don't switch out somebody's harness right before
Well,
they
good-
get in the plane.
I mean, good thing they did.
Yeah, but
And
have
they're
like the
they're
parameters
on
in
the
place
safer
where
side,
you don't
but
have to get to
yeah,
that
you don't
moment.
have to get to that point. Yeah.
Like that should happen at that moment. And I'm usually pretty like relaxed with stuff. I let things go off my shoulder, but switching out a harness right before you go on the plane, that screwed me up.
We got someone chiming in. Bill, can you not go on boats? I'm with you. I get seasick.
Not going on boats.
I get seasick. I can't do boats either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We actually, when I was there, we slept on a boat one night.
Yeah. How
which
was
was
that?
not you know what, it wasn't like there was no problem with like sleeping on the boat. It was the fact that guys were on one side, girls were on the other, and there was like 9 guys sleeping, and you can't really see the room we're in. It's not very big. We were like bunk to bunk.
Yeah.
Like, we hardly had any space, and I slept on the bottom bunk. So when I woke up in the morning, I just assumed I was in a hostel or something that had a little more space. So I woke up like the Undertaker, and I moved my head up like that. Bang! I smashed my
nailed
head
your head.
on like the
Like the
bed
metal?
frame, the bed frame of whoever was above
Yeah.
me. So that was a nice way to wake up.
Yeah.
But, yeah, boats. We love them.
Boats. I don't love them.
So can you not? What do you got?
Okay, can you not? Let's see what I got. Well, I was thinking back on Australia. Can you not alcohol prices in Australia? It was so expensive.
Yeah.
So all we drank literally the entire time was boxed wine. They called it goon. Did you
Goon?
guys call goon in New Zealand? Did you hear that
I
at
didn't
all?
hear that. No, I didn't come up.
Yeah, goon. That's all we drank, boxed wine, the
Goon.
entire time.
It's a great movie. You ever seen the movie Goon?
Yeah, no, I have. Goonies or whatever.
No, not Goonies.
Oh.
Goon.
I've seen neither, and everyone's going to freak out about that.
We'll talk about that later. Goon is with Stifler from American Pie. He's like a hockey enforcer.
Yeah.
Talk about that later.
Okay. Yeah, never seen
So
that.
that's
That's
never
my-
seen
that's-
it. The Goon. We digress here.
Yeah.
So another can you
Yeah,
not?
what do you got?
For me, this is a can you not for yourself. This is for me. Can you not the second day or third day of your trip be cooking on an electric stove and test the electric stove with your finger? Not a good idea. I did that and I burnt the crap out of my finger like the third day or fourth day of the trip and had a giant, gash on my finger for the next 2 weeks, which isn't a big deal, but if you're
Well-
going surfing and you're doing all these adventure-based activities, I had like this giant bandage on my finger the whole time, which wasn't fun.
Yeah.
But people in the group, they were like, my mom, they're like, here's some aloe, here's a bandage. They were quick to get everything fixed, so that helped. But
That's nice.
definitely a
But can you
stupid
not
move on my
burn
part.
your finger and have it be inconvenient the entire rest of your trip? I
Yes.
get it.
Can you not to myself?
Can you not?
Don't
Scott,
test the
burn
hotness
your finger?
of an electric stove with your finger. There's other methods. Les, you got another?
No, I think that one tops it.
Yeah,
I mean,
that is an all-time low.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is our show for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Les, you want to give a recap?
Okay. All right. Well, how many houses does it take to buy a house? Just as many as it takes for you to have that feeling. You'll know when it's right. You'll know, and it's all meant to be. It'll all work out. Scott, your New Zealand trip,
Amazing.
trip of a lifetime.
Trip of a lifetime.
Looked
Guys,
amazing.
go to New Zealand if you have the time, the money.
Recap.
New Zealand it.
Put New Zealand on your list of activities, and don't burn your finger.
Nope.
When you go there, bring a sturdy bag,
Sturdy bag.
and hopefully the weather is in your favor.
Cross your fingers on that. Hopefully cross your non-burned fingers that you have good weather wherever you travel to.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys
Okay.
enjoyed. We'll see you guys
Glad to
next
have
week.
you back.
Yep, good to see you guys. Hit me up for any questions regarding houses, travel.
New Zealand.
Talk to Les about anything. We're happy to communicate with you guys.
Yeah. Any questions you guys have, reach out, and we will answer them
Yep.
on next episodes.
Until next week. Peace.
Peace.